I'm Nicola Gaston. I'm a professor in physics here at the University of Auckland, and I'm one of the co-directors of the McDiarmid Institute with my colleague Professor Justin Hodgkiss, who's based in chemistry at the University in Wellington. One of the privileges I've had was being part of the team that led the McDiarmid Institute through its most recent revision of purpose, which really was a matter of reflecting the interests and the key motivations of the scientists and researchers who are part of the Institute. And the answers that came back were all answers about air quality, water quality, environmental responsibility. And so that's how we transitioned from being a very similar sort of institute, but advanced materials and nanotechnology, to something where that's explicitly about making an impact in sustainability. It was a privilege to be the president of the New Zealand Association of Scientists for a couple of years. One of the issues that arose, though, was the proposed code of public engagement. But the problem I always had was that it was framed as being about scientists saying the wrong things, stepping outside of their expertise, and that was undermining public trust in science. And yeah, the Royal Society, as I remember, took that on board and definitely were quite proactive about changing it to a set of guidelines after that, which I think did really address the concerns that we had as a community about, well, just let's make sure that this isn't about gatekeeping. Let's make sure that we're sending people positive messages about their responsibility to society. So why is science sexist? Well, science is sexist because we're people. We're people who do science, and unfortunately we make sexist and other kinds of biased judgments all the time. I think I tell the story actually in here somewhere early on about my boss at IRL coming up to me. The question was literally, Nicola, why aren't there more women in science? And I found it very odd to be asked this question because I realised I wasn't the right person to answer. What they were looking for were the experiences of women who had left scientific careers, research careers. But really, actually, the sense that I had at the time was that people cared about the issue, but they weren't dealing with it in a way that was necessarily having the right outcomes because the underlying causes weren't understood. I wrote the book because I really wanted to understand the problem from first principles. That's how I'm trained as a scientist. I still think that that's the most important thing for any of us to do in order to make things better, is to do the work on ourselves, to understand why equity is needed and what it looks like and what it doesn't look like.